Hey everyone, Heather Ash here, live on Instagram and streaming onto Facebook and YouTube. Hello, Jennifer. Hey, Doe. Put my slippers on. I just walked back in the door from visiting friends. Happy Sunday, everybody. Yay. So welcome to those of you that are joining on Instagram and those of you that are joining on Facebook or YouTube, whether you're live or watching the video later. Welcome. 1 second, I'm putting my slippers on because it's cold here. Good. Hello. So as you're tuning in, feel free to share, especially if you are on Instagram, to share where you're tuning in from and your name if I can't see it. Hey, Sarah. And for those of you on Facebook, sometimes your name doesn't show up. So if I don't say your name, what that usually means is your name says Facebook user, like good evening from England, hello, and hi sister. All three of those say Facebook user. Hey, Liz Betsy. So if you, hi Elizabeth, yay. If you want to share your name, that would be great. And also you don't have to. Hey, Laura, yay. Okay, good. Yay, Sarah. Okay, England is Ailish. I love it. Hi, Allie. And good, perfect. So we are in the midst of our 2023 Anti-Resolution Challenge. Hi, Clyde. And today is day 5, and we're talking about self-soothing, which is a really important skill to have. Hey, Wendy. And I feel very blessed. I just went and visited a dear friend of mine that I've known since we were 21. I think we've known each other that long. He was in one of my first ever classes that I taught. And he just moved to upstate New York. So I just got to go spend a couple days with Onyx, which was so great. Hey, Sarah. And I also just got to see one of the women in our Warrior Goddess community, Leela, and we just had lunch together. So I just walked back into my little Airbnb and gather here for day 5 of the Anti-Resolution Challenge. So some of you have been part of the Anti-Resolution Challenge, and I'd love to hear how your experience has been. And some of you may not even know what it is. So let's talk about it for a second. See if I can, oh, that's better. Much better. So this 2023 Anti-Resolution Challenge is a 7-day exploration into the ways, basically the ways that we get stuck in old patterns and habits. And we're focusing especially on the 4 strategies of pleasing, isolating, controlling, and distracting, and looking at how to unweave those strategies. And over the last 5 days, we've been doing lives. And if you join, even though we're in day 5, you're still welcome to join. If you join the antiresolutionchallenge.com, and I'll go ahead and write this in the chats, antiresolutionchallenge.com. And for those of you on Instagram, you can go to my profile and get the link. It's all free. Challenge.com. And what you'll get when you join is a link to the emails. So there's daily emails and teachings. Today, hey Amanda and Sarah. Today, we are talking about the concept of self-soothing. Yesterday, day 4, we talked about doing shadow work and how to bring the things that are in the shadow or that we don't want to look at aside us so we can really hold those parts of our hands. And today, we're going to explore this idea of soothing ourselves when we get rattled. Basically, when you get triggered, when you feel out of sorts, when you're scared. Yeah, Sarah, I love that. Looking back at last year's challenge, I have changed a lot. Good. Yes. It's a beautiful way to have a cycle and look at what has changed over the last year for sure. Yeah. So the 4 strategies that we've been talking about as part of the Anti-Resolution Challenge, as I shared, pleaser, controller, distractor, and isolator. Each of them have a gift that are the benefit of the core of us, that what we bring into the world, and all of them have costs as well. And part of shifting to step outside of just being in reaction is to learn to pause, to learn to stop before we respond and react to things, which sounds super simple, right? Just pause, just stop, just take a breath. But it is not that easy. So here are some tips and some tools to slow down and let yourself learn how to ally with you. Learning how to support ourselves through change rather than tear ourselves down is so much of what the anti-resolution challenge is about. It's learning how to be more unconditional with ourselves so that we know how, when we're struggling, to stop and say, "Hi, sweetheart, I'm here. What do you need?" And that we can really listen to what our needs are so that we can respond from a more balanced, rooted, grounded place within ourselves, that we can respond to the world and to things that happen from the present moment rather than from the past. Okay. Hi, Allie. For me, looking back at last year's challenge, I feel like it didn't sink in. This year, I feel it so much more. Positive growth mindset. Good. You have more spaciousness for the information to go in. Yeah. And that's, I love gardening. And there's this place of you aerate the soil. So you stir the soil up. And when the soil is more aerated, where it's more broken apart, things can go in more deeply. And so really the anti-resolution challenge is all about aerating our own soil. And sometimes what resolutions do is they cause us, it's almost like trying to dump fertilizer on soil that is not well nourished. And so you're dumping fertilizer to get things to grow, and it'll work for a little bit. But if you really want to have sustainable growth, you need to have sustainable soil. And we as humans are the same way. We need to learn how to nourish our own soil, listen to what our being actually needs. And in the Warrior Goddess community and the work that I do, we really look at 4 different aspects of ourselves. Hey Dylan, our mind, what's our mind up to, our energy, our emotional body, and our physical body. So we're working with these 4 aspects of self, and none of them are more important than others. So when we learn to hold ourselves, we're learning to look at how am I talking to myself, and how does that need to be healed or remedied? How am I in relationship to my energy? Is my energy full, or does my energy feel like it's being drained? How am I in relationship to my emotional body? Am I dragging a bunch of old emotions with me, or do I feel present with my emotional body? So my emotions are guides rather than anchors. And being in relationship and honoring this physical body so that we're taking care of what this physical body needs now, that we're in relationship to our physical body, not through our mind, but actually through our form. Sakina, aerating the soil is I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. Sometimes the soil gets really packed down and gets really hard. And when soil gets packed down hard, water can't go in, it just runs off. So aerating the soil is taking a fork or taking something to dig it up so that it breaks apart where it is stuck together, and then water can go in. It's called aerating because you're bringing more air and more space into the soil. Sarah, I've set goals and challenges this year. I'm pleased to say they're working and I'm doing them. Good. Yeah, because you cleared stuff out to have the spaciousness to take action from a new place. And that's what the work that we're doing is, so that we're not taking action from, I have to fix myself, I have to be perfect, I am going to judge myself and push myself to create change, but that we're actually really deeply supporting ourselves. Then it's easier to make change in our lives and to follow through with our commitments to ourselves, because we're not trying to force or punish ourselves forward into healing or into change. We are instead listening, how do I support this being? And that allows us to do challenging things. Amanda, I like that aerating is also equal allowing or receiving, opening up space to receive. Yeah. Good. Great, Doe. I'm so glad you're here as well. I downloaded the worksheets. Yay, good. Was here last year. Yeah, and that's something that's part of the anti-resolution challenge, is that we created worksheets so that you can get more insights and information about yourself. Good. Hey, Lori. I feel more at ease working with the cycles of the seasons instead of the calendar. Love that you are doing this. Yeah, you're so welcome. I love doing this as well. And I always say this, that the calendar that I really work to follow is based on a quarterly cycle of the equinoxes and the solstices, and using those times to set intent, to look at where I want to go, to integrate where I've been. And so that's every 3 months. It's the solstices and the equinoxes. And then there's also the moon cycle, which is much faster, about 29 days. And that, however, New Year's, since there's so many humans around the planet now that have energy around this being a new beginning, it's also an excellent time to create change and to learn how to do things in a different way, because a lot of people are looking at starting new things. So there's a lot of energy available in a helpful way. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sakina, who inspired you to do this challenge? I did. I got inspired to do this challenge last year. So yeah. And I think my friend Alana, who's a business coach, was the one that suggested the idea of the anti-resolution challenge, because especially last year, this is true somewhat this year, but do you all remember last year? This might not have been your experience, but a lot of us were really feeling exhausted and overwhelmed last year. We've been in the pandemic a couple years. It still didn't seem like things were shifting. So it feels a little bit lighter this year in some ways. And that's why it's really good for us to come together in community to keep supporting each other, because it may seem a little bit lighter for some of us, but it's still a rocky time for many humans and animals and plants on the planet right now. So I'm glad to be with you and supporting all of us as we journey together with healing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly, Carrie. Lovely. I have lots of resolve, but when it comes to healings, we must learn to allow them. True. Mm-hmm. And make space. So one of the ways that we can make space in our lives, that we can aerate our own soil, that we can become more receptive, is to really look at how are we in relationship with ourselves when we're scared, when we go into fear, when we feel really challenged, when we get triggered. What do we do? Do we judge ourselves? Do we compare ourselves? Do we talk bad to ourselves? Do we think that we should be doing it a different way? Or are we able to self-soothe, slow down, and listen? I first heard of this idea of self-soothing from a book that's called, let me see if I can remember the name of it. Oh, it's such a great book. The author's name is David Snarch. Passionate Marriage. There it is. So that book, he talked about, he's a therapist that works a lot with couples and relationships, and he talked about this idea of self-soothing. So when we're upset, when our nervous system is deregulated, or when we get triggered by something, what we want to learn to do as an automatic response is, hi, sweetheart, is to really come home and listen to ourselves. What do I need to feel soothed, to feel seen, to feel held? Okay, so self-soothing is doing things that are beneficial for us. What we often do is either we want somebody else to soothe us. Why is my camera? Does my camera look blurry? There, is that better? Yeah. So we either want somebody else to soothe us, which isn't a bad thing. It's lovely to get soothed by other people. Or we use drugs, alcohol, shopping, overthinking, beating ourselves up as a way to try and soothe ourselves, or like thinking about things in the past. And to transform those old patterns where we take responsibility for learning how to love on ourselves when we're scared, when we're triggered, when we're confused. And that becomes the pattern. That becomes what we automatically go towards. Okay. So what are forms of self-soothing that are beneficial? So let's talk about this idea of soil. I love soil. One of the things I write about in Warrior Goddess Training is this idea of, or no, actually, I'm sorry, it was in Big Freedom, my first book, which is called the Little Book of Big Freedom, is this idea of nurturing our soil. That what most of us are taught, what we're taught in what we call the dream of the planet and the way that we're domesticated, is that in order to protect ourselves, we have to armor. And if you look at gardening or conventional farming, in farming that's not organic, the whole focus is on spraying pesticides and fungicides or fungicides and all sorts of things to kill what's damaging to the plant. Okay. So that place of, I'm going to protect this plant by killing what's bad for it. Okay. Now, there's lots of harm that happens with putting chemicals onto plants, is that it affects the soil. It starts to kill the soil. And it actually can end up weakening the plant as well, which means you have to put more pesticides and stuff on. So in organic farming, there's really one big focus in organic farming, and that is on the soil. What does the soil need? What does the soil need? And so we drop down into what we can't see, but which is the foundation of healthy plants. When you have healthy soil, you have healthy plants, and healthy plants are more easily able to resist pests and bugs and a lot of other things. The other things that we do in organic farming is that you plant extra for the bugs. You know, the bugs and the critters are going to get some of your harvest, which is fine. Just plant extra. Okay, there isn't scarcity. So self-soothing is about learning what nourishes our soil and being willing to get to know ourselves, of what helps us feel seen and relaxed and held, and what to do that. So yeah, Lori writes, taking a walk outside in nature, Amanda, sleeping, exactly. These are all forms of self-soothing, wrapping yourself up in a blanket. Joyful Brenda, I'm getting better about soothing, but sometimes I still feel not worthy enough. Yeah. Sometimes we feel like we don't deserve to be soothed. We deserve to punish ourselves or to look at what we did wrong. And we go into guilt and shame and blame. The problem when we do that is we're closing ourselves down to our intuition, our insights, our creativity. Self-soothing helps us to get back in the present. Because a lot of times when we get triggered into fear or scarcity or competition, even, what's happening is that we are in the past. We're thinking about something that happened in the past or something we're worried about in the future. And self-soothing is a way to bring ourselves into the present, to ground ourselves in the present. So what are some other forms of self-soothing? How else do you soothe yourself in a way that is actually beneficial, that's not taking you out of the present moment, that's helping you bring yourself more into the present moment? Yeah, resting when I'm tired, giving myself permission to be gentle with myself. Yeah, acupressure. Yeah, beautiful. Touch, even putting your hands on your chest, on your belly, giving yourself a hug. Yeah, acupressure, crafts, beautiful. Going to the beach, I love it. Breathing, yeah. And Elizabeth, me too. Working to tenderly address the undeservability resistance. Yeah. Great that you see that. And yeah, there's an untangling of old agreements around deservability. Yeah. Earthing, exactly. Foot massage, yay. Breathing sense candlelight. Yeah. So one thing that can be really helpful is that the times when we most need to self-soothe is often the times that we don't know how, or our brains shut off in a way. And so a great thing that we can do is to get a bowl or a jar and write down things when you're in a really good space in relationship to yourself. Write down things that help you self-soothe, things that are soothing to you. Write them down, little pieces of paper, put them in the jar, and make the commitment, hey Phoenix, that when you're agitated, when you're scared, when you don't know what to do, when you're slipping towards depression, when you are comparing yourself to somebody else, when you're thinking about the past and beating yourself up for something happened, when you're anxiety and worrying about the present, any time that you're dysregulated in your nervous system or in your mind, then pull something out of that jar and do it without thinking about it. So whether that's beautiful, listening to sound healing music. Hey, Rihanna, good to see you. Yoga and EFT tapping. Permission to do nothing. Yeah. Jar or self-love notes. Yeah. And the other thing you can do, this is another super fun thing. Happy jar. Yeah. Yeah. Is write yourself letters and stick them in the mail, or even write letters and stick them someplace so that I'm going to go grab one of these letters and read it. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Being in nature, hot springs, soaking, and making a fire. Yeah. Yum. All these things are great ways of self-soothing. And so you want to have things that are really easy to do, that are not like, I'm going to go eat a pound of chocolate. That's going to make me feel sick later, but it'll make me feel a little bit better in the moment. Or I'm going to go binge watch a show that ends up making me feel not good about myself in the long run. Or I'm going to go, clean my house for the 40th time, which actually just makes me feel bad about myself. Now, yeah, beautiful, Padma, being outside with your dog. I love it. Now, sometimes the same exact thing, when you do it one time, can be self-soothing, and when you do another time can be a form of avoidance. So this is where the self-intimacy comes in, that we're asking ourselves, is this actually nourishing my soil? And what may nourish your soil may not nourish somebody else's. What may really soothe you may not be soothing to somebody else. So for example, what really helps soothe me, especially when I'm traveling, is washing dishes. So when I go to friends' house, when the friends that know me the best aren't like, oh no, don't wash your dishes. They're like, there's dishes, do you want to wash them? Because that is incredibly soothing to me. It helps me ground. Okay. But for some people, washing dishes may not be soothing at all. But something else, like watching a good video, might be soothing. For me, that's rarely soothing. Okay. Yeah. So we don't have to think there's only, there's the right way to self-soothe. It's going to change depending on what you need. And that's why it's really about listening to, what does this being need now, rather than what you think you should be needing. Doing dishes, the best, I think. Yeah, cuddling with pets, being with animals, that is really soothing. Just watching animals can be really helpful because they know how to self-soothe as well. If you've watched animals that get startled by something or that get scared, what they'll do is they'll shake. So they'll actually literally shake their body, and that's a form of regulating their nervous system and self-soothing. Yeah. Yeah, reading a good fiction book, absolutely. Hey, Angel, petting my pets as they snore, dog and cats purr while lying on my chest. Yum. Yeah. And then how do we recreate? So let's say I don't have access to washing dishes, or you're not around your pets, or you don't have a really good book. What would help substitute for things that you might need somebody else or something else to self-soothe? What would substitute for that? So let's just dream into that for a second. Let's just say you don't have anything around. How would you self-soothe? So one way is, one of my favorites, hand on your chest, hand on your belly, take a breath. And say, hi, sweetheart, I'm here. What do you need? What's the quality that you need? Yes, Patricia, exactly. Breathing. Yeah. Practicing presence, exactly, Sue. Yeah. One of the best ways that we can practice self-soothing is also practicing connecting to our senses. Yeah, humming. That's a good one. Humming is a really beautiful way to self-soothe. Allie, I need help for the times when my mother irritates me so much I want to scream. She has dementia. Whew, yeah. So when we're in really challenging situations, and taking care of your mama or anybody that has dementia is definitely high on the challenging situation. Family members, yeah, breath, beautiful. Rihanna says, tell myself I love you and I'm here for you. Yeah, Amanda, recalling memories that bring security or joy. And for those of you that have are in big challenging situations, one of the things that you can do is really focus on your senses. And so let's say, like Ollie is navigating mama that has dementia. One of the things you can do is think, okay, sense of smell. Let me get really yummy soap in the bathrooms, get an essential oil someplace else. Have a scent that cues you to relax your body. And what you do is that when you're in a good relaxed space, you smell that scent, you wash your hands, you use that scent to anchor in relaxed, safe, calm. So that you use that, then when you need to come present, you go smell or wash your hands, and that can help. Also, what may be really self-soothing is actually creating a space where you can scream and vent. I'm a big fan of venting, and venting consciously. So it may be that every once in a while, part of your self-soothing practice is you get into your car and put really loud music on and scream and yell and sing really loudly for a while to move the energy, so that you're not just keeping it bottled up when you feel like I just want to scream, that you actually let yourself scream or let yourself emote. Okay, that's also a form of self-soothing, because after that space is cleared, then you're like, hi, I'm here. I'm here. What do you need? Okay. Yeah. Beautiful, Angel. I love that. Talking out loud to my sister who's already transitioned. Yeah. Laura, I love that too. Looking into my eyes in the mirror and gently and sweetly talking to myself. Yes. Self-soothing. Mirrors are incredible. And again, we get to practice caring about ourselves, being compassionate, loving ourselves, so that we're shifting that place of where many of us look in the mirror and immediately judge ourselves, pick out our faults. Instead, learning how to look in the mirror and say, hi, sweetheart, breathe. To just be present with yourself, to become more intimate with yourself, to have a pep talk, to cheerlead yourself. Yeah, exactly. To go for a walk and talk to yourself. Yeah. Definitely long walks are one of my self-soothing techniques. I love when I've stirred up, just going and walking and getting into the rhythm and letting everything start to settle in my being allows me then, part of that self-soothing is to calm down and come into the present so that I can then discern what's mine and what's not mine. What needs to be untangled and what do I just need to release. So the self-soothing helps us get present so that we can then assess. And that goes back to day 2 of the anti-resolution challenge. We talked about this idea of the difference between judgment and discernment. So judgment has story, it has good, bad, right, wrong, it has blame attached to it, and it usually makes us feel worse when we're judging ourselves or judging other people. Versus discernment, which is very clean. Discernment is simply, this is not working for me. I need to take another action. I need to set a boundary here. So there isn't a big story or emotion around it. It's clarity. It's witnessing what's needed at this moment. Yeah. Hey, Leslie. So important to learn about how I calm my nervous system regularly. Yes. And we can build in ways, I was talking earlier about scents, like using essential oils or using a good smelling soap or something to help bring you into the present and anchor in something positive with a scent, because our sense of smell is so strong and has so many memories associated with it. And we can also use sight, like all the senses, like what would help you feel exactly. Wrapping in a warm blanket feels wonderful and safe. Yeah. And so if you're in a really hard situation, it may be really helpful. Come home, wrap yourself in a blanket. Another trick, get a big towel, put the towel in the dryer, get the towel warm, wrap yourself in the towel. So soothing. Helps you come back into the present so that you can resource yourself and go back into your life again. Yeah. So another thing is sight. It may be that you have on your phone a slideshow. I'm just making this up. A slideshow with all of your favorite scenes. So you go gather places you've been, places you've never been, but you really love. Like what are the sights that open your heart? And then you play that. Oh my gosh, my friend Onyx just showed something with me that was so soothing. So maybe this will help you all. I think it was called Pro Tours. So it's on YouTube. And what it is it's somebody that walks through different areas. And like it's slow. It's like 20 minutes walking through the streets of Italy, or 15 minutes we watched a little bit of Prague Christmas market. And there's something about walking, like seeing these incredibly beautiful sights that is calming to the nervous system. Yeah, I use wallpaper that inspires me, visually makes me happy, exactly. So that you gather those so that you can have access to them when you need them. You don't wait until you need them to go find them. You access them first, and then they're available. Okay, so you might want to make a set list of your favorite songs. Songs are also incredible ways to soothe. Whether that is, and for some people that might be rock and roll is what's the most soothing. For other people, it may be instrumental flute music. So that is another thing to also learn about yourself. What helps soothe you? And it may not be what soothes anybody else. I've had friends that were really soothed by punk rock. That's what soothed their nervous system. That may be you. Okay. So don't decide this is what should soothe me. Really find out what does. Yeah. Beautiful. I think this is Laura. I've been singing a spirit song to my daughter. Oh, no. Hello. I've been singing a spirit song to my daughter. Oh, this is Ailish. Lately, I've been feeling in and singing it to myself. The lyrics are, how can anyone ever tell you you are anything less than beautiful? Oh my God, such a good song. How can anyone ever tell you are less than whole? Yeah, beautiful. That is such a great song. And how beautiful that you caught that you're soothing your daughter by singing the song, and that you can also soothe yourself by singing the song to yourself. More of that. Yeah, Sakina, changing perspective is soothing. And that might be looking at an image. It might be changing your perspective by looking through a different window in your house than you normally do, or even getting upside down. I like it, Allie. Hard rock helps me to get out the negative energy. Yeah, good. And that's a form of self-soothing. Oh, I love it, Joe. I have beautiful warrior goddess archetype wallpaper. Nice. Good. All right. So we've talked a lot about self-soothing ideas. We can use our senses. How do we connect with our body to help soothe the body? How do we connect through smell, sight, touch, sound, taste? So there's another way to self-soothe, that it may be that you have a particular flavor that helps ground. So one of the things that I do, I stopped eating sugar. I'm starting to eat sugar again, but there's a phase where I went through really minimizing my sugar intake. And I found this chocolate that's really good that has no sugar in it. It's just pure cacao. And like breaking those little things in half and just putting in my mouth and just letting that dissolve. Okay. So what flavor is soothing to you? And this one can sometimes be tricky because we don't want to get into a pattern where we're eating to soothe ourselves if that's not helpful for our bodies. Okay. But can you self-soothe with a cup of tea, holding your chamomile tea? Yeah, dark chocolate does it for me. True, Sakina. I love it, Doe. Thank you. Sarah, I have a daughter who always washes her blankets at my house before she goes to her dad's. The smell of mom stays with her when I'm not near her. Oh, I love that. That is a beautiful form of self-soothing. So smart. Good. Yeah, Lori, ginger tea, soothing. Mm-hmm. So what can we drink or taste or bring in as another way to self-soothe through our mouths? So through our ears, through our smell, through our mouths, through touch, through sight. So using the senses to help us get present and as ways to soothe as well. And be creative how you self-soothe, and know that it's going to change. Something that worked yesterday may not work today in the same way. Beautiful, Ailish. I found some great herbal tea that's called Calm. It's my go-to self-soothe drink. I love it. Yeah, and Jennifer, I definitely have to replace eating to help with self-soothing. These are brilliant suggestions. Yes. Yeah. And anything we can overdo. So I know sometimes when I start cleaning the house, there's a particular frequency in my body that I notice that when I'm cleaning, I'm actually not soothing, I'm avoiding. And there's a different frequency from what I'm doing. So I'm like, okay, stop, sweetheart. Like, what do you actually need? You're avoiding something. What do you need? And for me, a really great practice is I created a practice called the Warrior Heart Practice, which is my last book. And doing that practice is actually a really great form of soothing because it helps me to separate out what I'm feeling from the story I'm telling myself, get to truth, get clear about my intent, and then come back. And doing the Warrior Heart Practice almost always brings me back into the present moment and feeling grounded and soothed. Laura, chamomile tea and my stone crop face lotion. Nice. Yeah. And that might be another thing, hand lotion, right? Self-massage, putting your feet in warm water or in ice water. Tulsi tea, like a hug in a mug. I love it. Yes. Yeah. So I hope you all have gotten insights from each other around ways to self-soothe. For those of you that are just joining us, hi. We are talking about the Anti-Resolution Challenge. We're in day 5, which the focus is on self-soothing. And the Anti-Resolution Challenge is a 7-day challenge. So we have 2 more days after this where we are untangling the ways that we use our strategies in ways that are unhelpful. So we're starting to bring up and look at places where we're pleasing, isolating, controlling, or distracting, and clean up the cost, the places that it doesn't serve us, so that we can get to our resilient gifts. And self-soothing is a way to help us get present so that we can be creative in how we're responding to the world rather than just reacting. So if you're not part of the Anti-Resolution Challenge, this is your first time hearing about it, you can still sign up and you'll get all the previous videos. They're little 8 to 10 minute videos that are coming out via email every day. So antiresolutionchallenge.com. It's free. You can join anytime. Everybody is welcome. I'll be doing 2 more live videos. Is that true? Or 3 more? 2 or 3. How's that? Lives over the next couple days. And also Monday night, tomorrow night, the 16th is my monthly tea and talk. So you can learn more by going to the website, warriorgoddess.com, or checking out my social media. Oh my gosh, weighted blankets are the best. I got one last year and I was like, I love this. So yeah, what a great way to soothe ourselves is weighted blankets. Valerian root, yeah, absolutely. Another great way to self-soothe. So make a list. If you want to support yourself, you can take what we've been talking about today. Also go watch today's video if you haven't watched it yet, as part of the Anti-Resolution Challenge, and write down, how do you soothe yourself? What are ways that you can soothe yourself? Take all the great ideas. You can make a little bowl or a jar where you put in things that remind you, or little pieces of paper that you write, do this, here's something else. Or that you even put, like, I don't know, like a Hershey's Kiss, and you can have a little emergency thing, little thing of essential oil, some incense, that when you need to self-soothe, you can pull that out. Okay, make time to self-soothe yourself. And remember, the reason that we're self-soothing is not to avoid, it's to help us get more resourced so that we can go towards the hard conversations, the challenging places in our life, that we can untangle things. We can also figure out what's mine and what's not mine. Yeah. You're so welcome, Jennifer. Thank you all for sharing. You're welcome. I hope that helped you, sweetheart. Weighted stuffed animals. Ooh, that sounds fun. Stomp walk until ready to be present and take in nature. That's a great idea, Patricia. Like, yeah. Doing rituals and ritual ceremonies really helps soothe me. Yeah, me too. That's a good one. You're welcome, love. You're welcome, Elizabeth. Yeah. So as part of the Anti-Resolution Challenge, we're also, everyone that's part of the challenge, so if you're not signed up, go sign up, because there's a couple benefits that are for people that are signed up. One is a month-long, a lot of you that are here are already in the circle, because we're broadcasting to the circle right now. For those of you that are not part of the Warrior Goddess Circle, we offer a 1-month free membership in our incredibly delightful, very soothing, and inspirational Warrior Goddess Training Circle. And we're also doing a workshop called Reclaim Your Courage. So that is not this weekend, but next weekend is Reclaim Your Courage. And if you join the Anti-Resolution Challenge, you'll also get access to the Reclaim Your Courage workshop. Those of you that are already in the Warrior Goddess Training Circle, you know that you get Reclaim as part of your membership. If you want to join us, if this work is resonating with you, if you feel like you're getting something that is supportive, come join us for a month free in the Warrior Goddess Training Circle, and come do Reclaim. Reclaim is we're doing it as 2 parts. The first part is a 3-hour workshop that is a deep dive on Saturday, January 28th. And it's all recorded. If you come live, would be fabulous. And the Anti-Resolution Challenge is a map to help us understand, like, how did we get there as humans? I learned this years and decades ago from my mentor, Don Miguel Ruiz, Toltec cosmology. And we also talk about how to come back into relationship with all aspects of ourself, our mind, our energy, our emotions, and our physical body. I love Reclaim Our Wholeness so much. So please come join. Yeah, I know, Doe. I'm so excited that it's coming back up again. So those of you that are in the circle, just check out the calendar. All the information for Reclaim Your Courage is in the calendar for you, as well as all the magic that's part of the Warrior Goddess Training Circle. And for those of you that are new or haven't been part of the circle, join the Anti-Resolution Challenge so that you can get a month completely free, no obligation at all, in the Warrior Goddess Training Circle. And you can also get access to our closed Reclaim Your Courage workshop. All right, let me share one more time in the chat here. Challenge.com. Thanks so much for joining me. For those of you on Instagram watching live or watching later, grateful to have you here. Hey, Anjali. And for those of you that are on Facebook or YouTube, hello. So good to have you here as well. Thanks for joining me today. Happy Sunday to all of you. I hope you go do something nourishing and self-soothing for yourself today. I'm going to go take a nap and then continue working on my book. So exciting. I am in Woodstock right now at a personal writing retreat, and I'm writing. It's happening. The book's coming together. Yay. Hello. All right, loves. Take good care of yourself. If you just popped on to the live, you can go watch the recording of it right now. Hi, India. Hey, Anjali. All right, Anjali. Thank you. Me too. I'm so happy I'm ready too. All right, loves, take good care of yourselves. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow will be at noon. New York, 9 Los Angeles, 5 London. All right, we'll go back to noon for the next couple days, noon Eastern time. Take care. Bye.